Yo, this is SoldierM86 bringing you another video. Today we're going to be talking about 2K. I've said a lot of things about 2K, 2K25, but this video stems from, it was already in the works, just so you know. But what really got the ball rolling was I got a cool comment. I thought it was a pretty cool comment, right? Now, I can't tell if the comment was meant to be a bad thing towards me or if it was just stating the obvious. But I liked the comment nonetheless. I wasn't upset about the comment, but the comment simply read, "Remember, we don't have to buy it." And those words are very true. We don't have to buy it. I love the comment. I even literally hearted the comment because it was very true. And, you know, full disclosure, I this channel was never meant for me to be like some type of 2K content creator. It simply was just a wrestling. It kind of morphed naturally into wrestling, but it all stemmed from me putting up gameplay and putting up at mostly action figure content. And I put up the gameplay content as a buffer when I didn't have anything new to talk about action figure wise. Then I would just put up gameplay. And because I was mostly doing wrestling figures over all the other type of figures that I would put up, like review wise, it just felt like it made sense. It's like, well, because I'm mostly doing wrestling action figures and I'm mostly collecting wrestling action figures, well, I might as well just put up wrestling gameplay as well. So it was always meant to be that. So when my subscriber count started getting bigger, I started realizing that yes, there are some people on YouTube that talk like me, have the same issues as me with 2K, but it never felt like it was enough. And so I decided to throw my 2 cents in. So that's why I started doing these type of videos, because I would figure, like, more people have to start speaking out, instead of just pretending that everything is okay. You know what I mean? Instead of just pretending that everything is okay when it comes to 2K, um, we do need the criticism as well, the warranted criticism. Now, um, like I mentioned, man, this video stems from the comment, "We don't have to buy it." And I look at just the gaming industry as a whole. This pertains to 2K, but just the gaming industry as a whole. A lot of the times when we get more, they find ways to also take away from us. What am I talking about? So last year, 2K24 had one of the best covers. The biggest edition that you could get. There was the deluxe edition, the special edition, which was the 40 years of WrestleMania. It was like $130. I think they always are. And believe it or not, I was close to getting that version of the game, because when I was um hype about it, because I did pre-order last year, um I kept looking for it at first. I was looking for it on every store's website, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and I could not find it. I could only find the deluxe edition with Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, which is the one that I got. And then I could see the standard edition with Cody on the cover, but I couldn't see the 40 years of WrestleMania. So I'm thinking, like, then I found out that, they had it where it was just digital only. And I'm thinking to myself, which probably a lot of you were too, why would you have such a cool case, like cool box art, and not be able to actually have it in hand? Even though there's a lot of gamers who love to collect and, they like having things like that, why would you make such a cool cover for the 40 years of WrestleMania, but you make it to where it's not a physical copy? That was a strange choice. Come to find out this year, now, mind you, I wasn't looking to pre-order, but found out through Mr. Dubs watching his channel, that now the deluxe edition and the Bloodline edition are both digital only. So the only physical copies that you can get of 2K are the standard edition. On top of that, the Rock from the Nation of Domination is locked behind paying for the Bloodline edition. And it says in parentheses, so when you look at all the features that they come with, it says not available for a separate purchase. So in order to play with the Nation of Domination Rock, you have to have the Bloodline edition. Now, maybe they might have it to where you have to play My Faction, but again, most of us, including myself, we don't play my faction and we don't want to put real money, real dollars towards my faction. So it's like the more that they give us, and when I'm talking about what they give us is the features that are in the game. You know, chain wrestling is back, which I said was a good thing. Promos being back, cool. Um, Intergender matches, they seem to be doing the things, but then also at the same time limiting and taking away from us. You know, and I know a lot of people by now, because everybody's made a video about it, there seems to be now some limitations that are going to be with the community creations. Now, we all know, and I've said many times on my channel, other people have said many times on their channel, the biggest YouTubers that talk about 2K have said on their channel that community creations is what keeps this game going. But now, with them not having the island on the PC and other things, Jesse from Pro Wrestling Shoots made a video about this and read the quote that they had up there where, you know, it's going to have some limitations with like community creations and things like that. So a lot of people are speculating, which I believe that they're right on the money. It might mean that we can no longer get the really cool mods from community creations. Like when people create some of the best calls and some of the best arenas because they're using mods, and we would typically be able to download those in the past, we might not be able to download those. And that's very important even for people who play universe mode, because with their universe mode, they want the latest, you know, ring attires. A lot of the times they want the newest arenas, because people do like to build their universe mode based off of what's going on in real life. Some people get really creative and they do their own thing. But even when they do their own thing, they still take stuff from community creations. So if we're going to be limited, that's going to be pretty interesting, to say the least. And this is one speculation that I've had. And this one is a bit of a I just hope that I'm wrong. But we all know, and we have to stop pretending, but we all know that the island is shaping up to be what the city is for NBA 2K. If that's the case, because it even says in the details that you control the creator, the wrestler that you create. You can't use anybody from the roster and just walk around the island. It's your my superstar. What does my superstar sound like? My player. Well, in NBA 2K, when you create your my player, before you buy clothes and make yourself look cool, what do you look like? You look like a bum. You have a brown shirt. You have the gray sweatpants and plain white shoes. What if, just what if, and I hope I'm wrong, what if one day 2K decides, even if maybe it's this year, but maybe in the future, remember, they always expand. Typically things like this that are monetized get worse with the monetization. So what if they start to say like, well, in order for you to download this character, you have to have been in the island and unlock all of these other parts? Because remember, you have to actually play through My Rise most of the time, and you typically have to buy all of the DLC to download a lot of calls. Because if you don't have a DLC, if you don't have certain things unlocked in My Rise, what does it say? Whenever you try to download a superstar, it says you must have either this DLC or you must have these parts unlocked in My Rise. So what's not to say that they're going to do the same thing with the island? Because the island is going to have shops and stuff like that. Let's not kid ourselves. It's going to have things where you have to buy things. They're not just going to let you put anything on your character. That's just my belief. That's just my belief. And now it might start out that way, because remember, in NBA 2K, things didn't start out that bad when you had my player. Once they first implemented my career, it was actually really cool in NBA 2K. Even your player started at a higher overall. Now your player starts at a lower overall, and it takes longer for you to get, unless you spend the money, it takes longer for you to get your player at a decent level. That's why my strategy with 2K when I used to play it, the NBA, is because the game would come out so early, I would build up my VC through playing the other modes and playing just the 5v5 NBA stuff, because I was always a my player dude that focused on the NBA parts of the game. I never played rec and anything like that. So I would build up so I wouldn't have to spend real currency to make my player good. But just what if WWE 2K does that? That is a possibility. So again, giving us more to eventually take away or make things more difficult to get. You know what I mean? Make it more of a grind, so to speak. And I think about all of this and I look at all of this and I say to myself, well, yeah, when I saw that comment of remember we don't have to buy it, it just resonated with me because I'm like, yeah, we really don't have to, because at this point in time, I'm really at this point not planning on it. I do want to play it. I want to play it when hopefully they do that free weekend thing for WrestleMania again. But honestly, if I do buy this game, it's gonna have to be when it's like 75% off or something, man. At this point, like I'm gonna have to get this game like for really, really cheap, man, because um I'm already not as hype as everybody else is because it's just been a continuous cycle of, get hype, game comes out, after a few weeks, the game kind of dies. And then every time a DLC pack comes out, people get hype about it again and they play it for a little bit and then it dies down. The only people that really seem to continuously play this game are people like me who will use the community creations and that's what kind of keeps us going, because I'll just do regular matches after I'm done playing through like all of the modes. Um, and then they got the people who are good with the way universe mode is, and they're able to just continuously play universe mode. But that ain't me. And last thing I'll say about 2K is, when we pay for these expensive versions of the game, which I want to add, 2K24 was the first time that I've bought a special edition version of a game. I've never been the type to play or buy a special edition version of a game. I usually just typically get the standard edition because I'm like, you're not about to get that money off of me. But last year was the first time that I got a special edition. And when you think about how quickly they shut down the servers of the previous year's game, it makes you wonder to yourself, like, man, really, is it worth it? Is it truly worth it to spend $130 on a Bloodline edition when you know that they cut the the life cycle of the game? They stop so soon, as opposed to when they used to keep it around for a few years back, in the past. So like if you weren't planning on getting the new game or you wanted to wait a while to get the new game, you could at least be able to download from community creations while playing last year's, the previous year's game. But they cut off the service so soon now, you're just kind of running in a loop of spending a lot of money, and then what do you get to show for it, right? You're spending a lot of money, and if you're somebody who's playing my faction, you're spending even more money because you really might not want to do the grind that extensively, so you're putting all this money into 2K only to have to do it in 8 months time again, 8 or 9 months time again. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Especially if you're pre-ordering it early, you're dropping that money even sooner. But it's like, for what? When the game's the game's hype dies so quickly after release, it just kind of makes it to where it's really not worth it. And look, this is my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to get upset. One man's opinion shouldn't affect your opinion on the game that you love, right? I think a lot of people just on the internet, period, have really, really bad issues with people not agreeing with them. They really do. They have serious issues with it. So it's like, don't come at this video with the mindset of being upset at what I'm saying. Just come at this video of a mindset of just, listen, this is this person's opinion, which it is. It's just my opinion. And so I look at things like, I was also watching Mr. Dub's latest video on Ultra Pro Wrestling. And when I look at Ultra Pro Wrestling, that game is truly made for us. You want to talk about a game that's truly made for wrestling fans? It's that. Everything that they have planned for Ultra Pro Wrestling just sounds great. And it almost sounds too good to be true because it's an indie developer. You know, a lot of people make videos talking about how gaming is dying, and you'll see in the comment section, you'll see a lot of people say, no, 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 but it's the AAA scene that's kind of dying, but the indies is what's keeping gaming alive. And when I look at games like Ultra Pro Wrestling, that couldn't be more true. You know, it couldn't be more true because it took an indie developer to, you know, be a fan of wrestling and make a game for wrestling fans. And I've always been saying that since I've heard about Ultra Pro Wrestling. It's a wrestling game that was made by wrestling fans for wrestling fans. And that's when you get kind of the best content because these people are passionate about they're passionate about it. Just like the developers keep saying, Ultra Pro Wrestling is a passion project. And man, it sounds fantastic. Even if you don't want to buy the DLC, because I did hear that the DLC is going to be priced based off of the wrestler, because when you buy a wrestler, that money is also going to go towards their family. Like 50% of the proceeds are going to their family. So every wrestler is going to have their DLC character charged at a different price. They might do bundles as well. Regardless of that, the creation suite, they said they have it to where you can create anybody that you want to create. They said current superstars. They said, well, what did they say? Past and present. You will be able to create past and present superstars. So if you're somebody who likes what's going on in modern wrestling now, you can create people like Seth Rollins. You can create Roman Reigns. Or if you're somebody like me, and even though they have a ton of legends coming to DLC, if you don't want to buy that DLC, if you want to create Ultimate Warrior, if you want to create Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, whoever, Billy Gunn, whoever, you can create these wrestlers in Ultra Pro Wrestling. Body morphing is there, something that they've been hoping that 2K would bring back for their creation suite. And so I just look at it and I say to myself, I'm like, man, like everything that Ultra Pro Wrestling is shaping up to be, it's literally made for us. And that's why I wanted to do this video in a different way, to show these games right here. Because the reason why people like me nitpick about 2K so much is because these guys cared. These guys made passion projects damn near every year. We didn't have to say, man, I hope the game has this or the game should have this. Now, the internet was around back then when these games released, but it wasn't that big. So it's like the stuff that was implemented in these THQ games, it felt like it was implemented because they knew they had their finger on the pulse of what wrestling fans would want. Being able to go outside, which WWE TV would do. Wrestlers would fight outside back in the day, outside the arena. Wrestlers would fight in the concession stand area. And the funny thing is, the sad thing is, you could do this. You could fight not necessarily outside of the arena, but in SmackDown 2, SmackDown Know Your Role for the PlayStation 1, they had so many different backstage areas that you could fight in. And this is PlayStation 1. And yet you fast forward to today, and 2K's backstage area now, it really has gotten worse. It used to be cool, the backstage area, but it's gotten worse. But even when 2K had a good backstage area, it wasn't to the level of these games right here. It wasn't to the level of that. There was just so many things that you could do in these games from before. The gameplay was the focus, and they were just fun. And Ultra Pro Wrestling sounds like it's going to give us more of that. And so, yeah, I'm making this video because, look, 2K25 could either be my last 2K. I could not play this 2K at all. And 2K24 might be my last 2K game that I play. You know, or at least own. So, I don't know, man. You guys let me know what you feel in the comment section, man. This is, yeah. I just had this topic on my mind and wanted to get it out. But thank you guys for tuning in as always, man. It's your boy Soul Drum 86, and I'm out. Peace.